Welcome to this pharmacology series. I'm Dr. Deborah Osei-Sarfoh. I teach diseases and medications, one drug, one mechanism and one animation at a time. Let's learn about the platelet plug formation and antiplatelets. Ever wondered why a tiny cut doesn't make you bleed forever? No bandage, no medicine. Just your body running a perfectly coordinated emergency response. That is hemostasis, the arrest of blood loss from a damaged bloodstream. Physical trauma to the vascular system initiates a complex series of interactions leading to cessation of blood flow. This includes vasospasm, to minimize blood loss, formation of the platelet plug, to stop the bleed and, finally, the coagulation cascade, to reinforce the platelet plug. This video centers on the first part of this response. Thrombosis is the pathological formation of a hemostatic plug. In thrombosis, the same clotting process happens inside a blood vessel but is triggered by diseased or damaged vessels, forming a thrombus that can block blood flow. When a thrombus detaches and floats in the blood, this is known as an embolus. Understanding these processes forms the basis of treatment of thromboembolic disorders. Platelets act like vascular security guards, quietly circulating and monitoring the integrity of vessel walls. Under normal conditions, platelet aggregation is inhibited by healthy endothelial cells, which release prostacyclin and nitric oxide. These mediators act on platelet receptors to increase intracellular cyclic AMP, leading to a reduction in intracellular calcium concentration. The decrease in calcium prevents platelet activation and aggregation, thereby maintaining blood fluidity. When the endothelium is injured, endothelin is released by endothelial cells, triggering contraction of smooth muscle in vessel walls, which narrows lumen and reduces blood loss. Platelet membrane receptor, glycoprotein 1b, then adheres to the exposed collagen of the subendothelium via the von Willebrand factor. This triggers a complex series of chemical reactions, resulting in platelet activation. Once platelets adhere to exposed collagen, they transform and release granules containing chemical mediators such as adenosine diphosphate, thromboxane A2, serotonin, platelet activation factor, and thrombin. These chemicals activate nearby resting platelets, and the previously dormant platelets start to aggregate. Platelet activation increases cytosolic calcium by releasing intracellular stores, triggering granule release, thromboxane A2 synthesis, and activation of GP2B3A receptors. These receptors bind fibrinogen, which acts like a bridge between platelets. This results in platelet cross-linking, rapid platelet aggregation, and the formation of a platelet plug. Antiplatelet drugs interfere with key steps in platelet activation and aggregation. Because these agents have different mechanisms of actions, additive or synergistic effects may be achieved when agents from different classes are combined. Platelet activation releases arachidonic acid, which is converted by COX-1 into thromboxane A2. Low-dose aspirin irreversibly inhibits COX-1, blocking thromboxane A synthesis and shifting the balance toward prostacyclin, thereby reducing platelet aggregation. In acute settings such as myocardial infarction or evolving stroke, a 300 mg loading dose is used for rapid platelet inhibition, followed by low-dose aspirin for long-term prevention. Higher doses are avoided because of increased bleeding and gastrointestinal side effects. Next are the phosphodiesterase inhibitors. Phosphodiesterases normally degrade CAMP and cGMP. Their inhibition increases cyclic nucleotide levels, lowers intracellular calcium, and thereby inhibits platelet aggregation and promotes vasodilation. Dipyridamole, a non-selective PDE inhibitor, is usually used with aspirin or warfarin. Silostazole, a selective phosphodiesterase 3 inhibitor with antiplatelet activity, is mainly indicated in the management of intermittent claudication. Ticlopidine, clopidogrel, and prasugrel irreversibly inhibit the binding of ADP to the P2Y12 receptors on platelets, thereby inhibiting the activation of the GP2B3A receptors required for platelets to bind to fibrinogen and to each other. Ticlopidine is rarely used due to severe hematologic toxicity. Clopidogrel is the most commonly used and safer, but is a CYP2C19-dependent prodrug, with reduced efficacy in poor metabolizers. Prasugrel is more potent but carries the highest bleeding risk. All increased bleeding risk, have no antidote, and can interact with other CYP450 metabolized drugs. GP2B3A inhibitors, abciximab, eptifibatide, and tirofiban block the final step of platelet aggregation by preventing fibrinogen binding. They are licensed as adjunct therapies to heparin and aspirin for the prevention of ischemic complications in high-risk patients. Abciximab should be used once only to avoid bleeding risk. Epoprostenol is a synthetic prostacyclin analog that activates prostanoid IP receptors, causing potent vasodilation and inhibition of platelet aggregation by increasing CAMP and lowering calcium. Due to its short half-life, it requires continuous infusion and is used during renal dialysis when heparin is contraindicated. In summary, platelet plug formation is essential for hemostasis but can cause harmful clots when dysregulated. Antiplatelet medications reduce this risk and must be taken as prescribed, with guidance from a healthcare professional. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more content.